is so central, and I thank you, Mr. President, for the work that you've done in persuading legislators to make sure that we put in place the measures that are necessary to encourage that two-way transfer of defence technology that will be at the centre of an agreement that's about peace and security in our region, but also about prosperity in our region as well. In addition to that,
rallies taken across the country this year, about 500,000 people were counted as homeless, a number that misses some people and does not include those staying with friends or family. But the figure was nearly the same as it was in 2020. It was about up by 2,000 people, as an increase of less than 1%. President Biden said in my statement, "My plan offers a roadmap for not only getting people into housing, but also ensuring they have access to the support, services, and income that allow them to live and thrive." The 2022 All-In Strategy Roadmap, public today, follows a 2010 report called for Opening Doors, which was the nation's first strategy to prevent homelessness. So, the CEO of this program said the federal government can influence the local action with financial initiatives, streamlining processes, and strong policies. The federal plan highlights disparities that have led to inequity in homelessness. It seeks to expand the supply of federal affordable housing and improve the ways that to prevent people from being homeless again. Potential steps include a campaign to encourage landlords to accept government housing vouchers and encourage local governments to build more apartment complexes that are affordable for the working family. The Biden administration announced a program that has to help several agencies with local officials to reduce unsheltered homelessness in select cities that have not been named yet. The crisis brought massive job losses, particularly for lower-income people and higher rents. It also spurred an eviction moratorium and temporary federal aid, including tax credits for families to help keep people housed. And it's found that homelessness declined among veterans, families, and children. So, more people were staying in places not intended for habitation, rather than shelters, and more had been homeless for more than a year. So what we see is that President Biden should do more for the people in stimulus payments. But to help with this, be sure to claim my Amazon gift. The program sets restrictions on both net and gross monthly income broken down into household size. But the barrier to acquiring food aid in Michigan has been lowered. It is Governor Gretchen Whitmer signed a bipartisan bill removing the asset test as a requirement to receive SNAP benefits. And according to the Michigan Executive Office of the Governor, the move will offer greater financial security to those who need it the most and ease the burden of receiving aid. Michigan is now one of the 37 states with similar laws, and the governor says people who had more than $15,000 worth of assets, including vehicles and savings, were disqualified for food. Officials say that 500,000 children in Michigan will benefit from the eliminated asset. And now in Maine, all recipients of the SNAP program will have their monthly benefits delivered to them by today. SNAP benefits are distributed to eligible residents from the 10th to the 14th of every month, with all beneficiaries scheduled to have their benefits by the month of July by Friday. Now, the next round of SNAP payments will also begin on August 10th. The state of Texas will complete issuing SNAP benefits worth up to $1,700 for a month of July this week. Texas has a long window for issuing payments, lasting through the first 10 days in a month. Even the amount received depends on one family size. A single household will receive $281, and an 8-member household will receive $1,700. But on a federal level, some House representatives want to expand the number of food stamp recipients subject to work requirements and time-limited food benefits by raising the age of people covered by the rules to 65. Members are writing the bill against the backdrop of extraordinary uncertainty in the economy and inflation, including the cost of food is so high that the Federal Reserve is willing to risk a recession to slow the prices down. Economic disruptions are caused by the crisis in the robust labor market is expected to weaken in the months ahead. The past week, Democrats of the Department of Education announced that it will begin discharging student loan debts for borrowers who've been in repayment for 20 to 25 years under a one-time payment. Around 800,000 borrowers will benefit from this, and there will be $39 billion dropped. Joe Biden said the previous announcement is a one-time adjustment and will become an even more important lifeline for struggling borrowers than repayments start in September. The one-time payment adjustment the Education Department had counts certain months that were previously ineligible towards student loan forgiveness. But now, everybody, the Education Department announced a one-time payment adjustment for all direct loans and federally owned family education loans. Now, the adjustment to student loan accounts will go toward helping borrowers get closer to forgiveness. A ton of views, but the fourth stimulus check, Social Security benefits, SSI, and SSDI. You don't want to miss out on this, so here it is. Gas prices are continuing to rise again, and now Many advocacy groups are urging the president to take action, executive action, and send out inflation relief checks to Americans. This could be a one-time payment for so many people. New stimulus checks worth more than $400 are going out to hundreds, if not thousands of people. The Minnesota Department of Labor and Industry announced that applicants who chose direct deposit will see their checks within 10 days. The Minnesota Governor, Tim Walz, said at the Direct Payments and News Conference on October 3rd that I'm grateful for the work of Minnesotans did to help people across the state today and stay healthy and safe through the crisis. Frontline workers are an important part of the fabric of our state and help us continue functioning during this time. The Minnesota Department of Labor and Industry announced that applicants who chose direct deposit will see their checks within 10 days. However, you could see your payment within 3 to 4 weeks if you chose to receive the compensation via debit card. Applicants who applied should have received an email informing them if they were approved or denied for the one-time payment. And the temporary commissioner of the state's labor department said that the industry and the money is subject to federal income tax, but not the state income tax. And lower gas prices in Minnesota, along with cheaper used cars, slowed inflation for a second straight month. But new inflation reports have actually painted a far rosy picture as many other items increased in prices. Consumer prices surged 8.3% last month, down from 8.5% from a year-over-year increase in July. Inflation is still painfully high as food and energy prices remain volatile, but is down from the 4-decade high of 9.1% in June. In the Midwest, inflation rose to 8.1% in August of 2022, and used vehicles are declining, but still remain about 7.8% higher than as at this time last year. Airfares are declining as well. As major oil companies actually plan to slash production, U.S. gas prices may rise again, with some states potentially feeling the burn more than others. The Alliance of Oil-Producing Countries announced it will cut production by 2 million barrels per day starting this October, a move that may put further upward pressure on gasoline prices. Even before the group's decision, gas prices had already started ticking up across the nation after briefly declining again, and the national average gas price stood at $3.89 as of Friday, up from $3.80 from the week before. Illinois residents have just 8 days left to claim this $700 check, everybody. The tax rebates are part of the state's family plan. It was introduced by the bill from the state senator, and it was who passed the legislature earlier this year. The bill sets aside millions of dollars for those who filed their taxes in 2021 to help with the increased costs caused by the crisis and rising inflation. The senator told reporters that from crisis losses to the increased cost of living, families are facing some food insecurity and are in financial distress. So as a General Assembly, we recognize the daily struggles of hardworking people and pass this bill to help so many people out. So eligible residents have until October 17 to file for last year's taxes to receive the payment. And the amount each person receives will vary depending on the taxes filed. So hopefully people can get the stimulus check that they so desperately need.
And in our note today, we highlighted 5 points to investors why we think sentiment for the group really reflects a lot of the risks that we see. And when you look at the stock price declines we've already seen for this group, down more than 50% year to date and twice the market's decline.